Hi and welcome to the Ruben Tuesday. My name is Ruben, and this is my review for Netflix original documentary series Tiger King: Murder, Mayhem and Madness. Tiger King is a sprawling 7-episode docuseries which true crime story keeps branching off in weirder and weirder directions. So Tiger King, 7 episodes, 45 minutes apiece. This is a series that I had all the facial expressions. I started off with like this and ended up like this and what the, and my emotions range from that's disgusting to rarely can people do that to just outright bewilderment. It's actually a number one in the UK at the moment on Netflix most watched. So this is what people are binging while they're in at home, having to stay at home with the kids or whatever. If you can't do your job and you're having to stay home, this is what people are watching, at least in the UK. Very well put together, but the story itself is very worrying. It's all about these cats and people supposedly having love for these cats and trying to build sanctuaries. There are, at the moment, still to this day, 5 to 10,000 cats in captivity, even after this story has aired. You know, it's still today that is the amount of cats apparently in captivity, which just boggles the mind. There are only 4,000 cats in the wild. The documentary story, is actually about Joe Exotic, and you follow his life, his crazy life, and these other parks, the wildlife sanctuaries, and this feud that goes on from supposed what could be murder to drugs to just I guess cult references or just actual cults. As you watch each episode, your facial expressions will change like mine did from, is this really true? Can this be happening? Is this actually the truth, what's happening in our world? It is by far the most interesting and weird docu-series I've seen from Netflix. I recently watched one about cats and a murder and how basically a serial killer and people hunting them down. And then I thought I'd seen the most weirdest, strangest docu-series from Netflix. Safe to say, I haven't. I do like the way they show this docuseries. It's like individual episodes on particular characters, and they go in and out of the storylines. I say storylines, the weird lifestyles that these people choose. It makes you feel all like the heebie-jeebies inside when you see one of the I guess these wildlife sanctuary leaders have multiple wives, and you see the cult status. And I think it's a fair documentary, so they show all sides of it, but you come away feeling like, oh, I need to go have a shower, and also really sad for the animals, because in all this escapades and all this storytelling, it feels like the animals come off much worse. Which is really sad, because that's what they set out to do supposedly at the beginning, is help these animals, but the underbelly story of this is much darker. It's a thrilling ride to watch this series, but at the end it leaves you thinking, well, is something being done about these cats? Are they actually going to help? Is Netflix going to maybe take some of the proceeds from this docuseries and actually give it to a sanctuary that is actually doing good deeds, rather than using these cats to benefit themselves and their lifestyles and their egos? It's very interesting into the minds of some of these characters who put themselves above other people. They call themselves kings. You know, Exotic Joe considered himself to be the king of his domain. The words he used are very cult-like, as was the others. You have this feud that's just bizarre. There's this woman that thinks that she is one of the good guys when she's obviously not. You can see how people are being abused just as slave labor. The amount they get paid or don't get paid to live in this lifestyle it's crazy. It's a crazy series, but I think when you start watching, you're gonna be like sucked into the story because you can't believe what you're watching. And I think that is the appeal to this type of story, because there is the norm of, you know, everybody's different in their own way, but there's what society dictates to be a normal trend, to be human, and then you have the outskirts of people where they're just living in their own weird, wacky world. And this is one of those stories. It's one of the wackiest stories I've come across. Very entertaining. As a docuseries, I'll give it an A. As a wildlife fund that actually helps animals, I'll give it a D, because as far as I can see, this hasn't helped them, except to shut down some of those parks, I think. I really do hope that some of the proceedings that Netflix make from this docuseries will go to actual helping animals. Yeah, weird, horrible use of animals here. but quite an investigative journalist story. The guy that put this together apparently had been doing this for over 5 years. It's a long story that's drawn out, but it's expertly put together for you to watch in the best way possible. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this series. Did you think it was good? Do you think it's accurate? What do you know about this? If you live in the States, I'd love to know whether you heard about this when it did blow up. But until next time for my next review, which should be coming sometime today, thanks so much for watching this review. And until next time, remember, live long and choose good.